Once I made my decision to buy a bus, from the day that I decided to the day that I purchased the vehicle was 48 hours impulsively on govdeals.com, and I bid it on a bus that I never seen in person. I never heard it start. I never talked to the owners. I just trusted my gut, which is so crazy. I trusted my gut and I did it. The Diary of Nikki Jones. Being creative is an everyday adventure. Hey friends! So I am Nikki. I've lived in a school bus for 2.5 years, a lot longer than I ever expected to live in a school bus. And I recently moved out about 2 months ago into an apartment, which that's a whole nother rabbit hole that I'm realizing is a bit of a culture shock for me. So many people talked about going from living large and having everything that you want, or having unlimited space in a house in an apartment, and then downsizing to a school bus. And I just didn't think anything of it. I'm like, okay, put most of my stuff in storage, sell the other most of my stuff, the other half of my stuff, and move in a bus. And I never quite had any type of shock moment of living in a bus. This is what I was going to do. That's it. My bus's name is Autumn. I love Autumn so much. I'm also selling Autumn, in the process of selling Autumn, so that may be happening sooner than later, which also prompted this video. Anyways, let's get to it. So Autumn is a 2005 Ford E450 with a diesel engine. Autumn is a 6-window schoolie, and I have had her since October of 2020. Which is part of the reason why I named her Autumn, because I purchased it in autumn. All of the colors and the interior designing of the bus is based off of the season. When I purchased Autumn for the first time and I drove her home to upstate New York, had to drive through the Poconos in the fall. I think it was October 28th or October 31st. One of those. Drove through the Poconos, and the colors in the fall between the Poconos and upstate New York, with the orangish, burnt orange colors like my pillows, and a bunch of, green leaves, and just the leaves changing color. I just love fall. I never realized I love fall so much until that moment. So I decided to name my bus Autumn. Every single thing inside of this bus I did myself with little to absolutely no experience whatsoever. I had an idea and I really just made my mind up to go forward with this like no other. I gave this 110% and I got every dime worth out of it. Where did this idea come from, might you ask? If you knew me and know me, I was never really the type of person that I don't think people would have dubbed me to live in a school bus. I wasn't really a minimalistic person, but I adapted to this lifestyle very easily. Way back in 2020 during the pandemic, at the start of the pandemic, I came across this couple on YouTube who was renovating a van, and I'm like, oh my god, this is such a great idea. I want to do that too. So because of the pandemic, and right at the start, before we really even knew what was happening with the world, my lease was ending. So my mom and I, being afraid, she was like, come home. I'm like, all right, bet, I'm on my way. So I ended my lease. I moved back home with my mom, and during this time I just felt like I had the freedom to do whatever, to go wherever. I just felt like I was unrestricted. I didn't have an apartment, I didn't have a lease, I didn't have any obligation to be anywhere. I didn't have a relationship, I didn't have kids, anything like that. I still don't have a relationship or kids, but I was just free to do whatever I wanted. And this just sounded like the best idea. So I kind of sat on the idea for a little bit, but once I made my decision to buy a bus, from the day that I decided to the day that I purchased the vehicle was 48 hours impulsively on govdeals.com. And I bid it on a bus that I never seen in person. I never heard it start. I never talked to the owners. I just trusted my gut, which is so crazy. I trusted my gut and I did it, and it all worked out. I love that part. I just really did not want to pay rent again, and I didn't want to feel so stuck, I guess, so stationary. I didn't want to feel that, and so getting a bus was literally perfect for me and what I wanted at that time in life. Choosing the right bus. This was pretty easy for me to figure out what size bus I wanted. So I think the shortest bus has 4 windows and the longest may have 11 or 12. And I didn't want a super long bus to where it would be hard for me to navigate, park it, go through a city like Philadelphia, which is where I spent most of my time in the bus. I just wanted something easy to navigate, but I also wanted big enough so that I can fit the essentials. Full-size bed, a couch which pulls out to a guest bed, kitchen with a stove, a sink, and a refrigerator, lots of storage everywhere, and most importantly, I was not skipping out on a shower or a toilet. So everything that I built in this bus has everything a small apartment has. Like, there was no other, this is it. I don't know what else I would put in here, but I have all of the essentials to where if I was out on the road for months at a time, everything that I need is here in this bus. Oh, that was everything. So November 2020 is when I really started my renovation process, and I think it's so crazy that I had no experience and I never doubted my ability to create this. Once I figured out what I wanted inside of this bus, I had this vision in my head. Everything that you can see in this bus was in my head, and I just went straight to work, and I went for months. It took me 9 months to build the bus of my dreams, and then I moved in. Some of the challenges during my conversion was, sounds silly, but because I was an amateur, I would go to Home Depot and Lowe's and look for things that don't even exist. Because to me, I'm like innovating. I'm innovating. I'm being innovative by putting all of this together. So when I go to the store and I say, I want a piece that can do X, Y, and Z, and they're just like, I don't know what she's talking about, but it sounds good. Yeah, that happened way too often. Some other obstacles that I've had during my conversion process was that I needed someone to help me do some heavy lifting sometimes. So part of the reason why I pretty much did like 95% of everything in here by myself is because help wasn't readily available for me. I also preferred to do it by myself, but things like helping me get my solar panels on the roof to secure them down properly and securely in a moving vehicle, I needed another person, and that was pretty hard for me to like find someone like, hey, how are you available? Like, I'm working on this like non-stop every day, like 8 hours a day, like come over and help me put this on. Like, it will take 20 minutes out your day, my brother or any other person in my family, and help me. That was a pretty big challenge. And then also I was renovating my bus in upstate New York, and we have all 4 seasons, the worst of all 4 seasons, especially winter. So I actually had to pause production on the bus, especially during the month of February. I did not want to work on the bus at all because it was just way too cold, and I didn't have my heater. I really didn't set up my heater until the very end of my bus build, which was in October of 2021. With downsizing and living in a tiny home, there are some changes in, I guess, a typical daily routine, and some of the things that I needed to change in my routine or add to my routine really revolved around living in this bus. So one thing in the winter, hold on, I literally kept this in my car like almost at all times. So I would leave during the day, take this, go to work, do whatever I was doing, and when I was on my way home, I would stop at the gas station, put diesel fuel in this. This is two gallons. Put diesel fuel in this, come back to the bus, fill up my heater, start my heater in the dead middle of winter, go and do whatever other errands that I have, let the bus heat up for about an hour before I would like come home and like be here and not go anywhere else. And that just made my days so much longer, because I wasn't like a typical person living in a bus that I was traveling so often. Like, my bus was my home, and the bus would be parked, especially during the winter, would just be parked in one location, and I had a car that I would drive around to do everything else, go to work, go to errands, go to the gym, whatever, and then come back to my physical location of a home where the bus was. Still didn't have an address, but it was in one spot. One thing that also changed in my routine, which is like for the better, but I made sure I went to the gym at least 5 times a week and utilize the shower after my workouts so that I wasn't using my supply of water. It's not an endless supply. How do you say it? Like, it's not never ending, it ends. I have 75 gallons of water, and that could last me about a month between showering and doing the dishes. But with going to the gym Monday through Friday, that helped me not have to really shower in the bus unless it's on the weekends or if my routine changed for whatever reason. So just being like mindful of like making sure I have heat, making sure I have enough water. Those are the two things that you don't have to think about when you're in an apartment. When you're in an apartment, you turn your heat on. Just press a button or two. And for water, you can just turn that faucet on and let it run as long as you want. And here I was like making sure that I wasn't using a lot of water. Oh, another thing was that my commute was a lot longer than it would have been than it is now. So now, since I live in an apartment, my commute is like 10 to 20 minutes. Where I was parked with the bus to go to those same jobs would take me anywhere between an hour and a half every day that I left. I would be going and driving that far through rush hour traffic. So obviously, or maybe it's not obvious, but I didn't have the bus in the city. It was a little bit outside of the city. It was actually in a completely different city than Philadelphia, but to commute into the city, that was a lot. So I was spending a lot more money on gas, but I wasn't really paying rent. So kind of have to like, you know, figure out a balancing act of that all. There's so many rewards of buying a school bus, renovating it, and then living in it. And I think it depends on each person because it's going to be different based on the things that you value in life. One thing that is on my list that I felt that was a really great reward was that I built the bus in upstate New York in the driveway of my grandmother, my great-grandmother, who unfortunately are no longer with us. So to have them see me create something beautiful out of nothing, and for them to actually be able to physically come inside the bus and see it themselves, nothing else can compare. So yeah, that was probably one of the most rewarding things. But also just, you know, being able to share it with other family members. My niece, I think she was 2 when I got the bus, and she's 6 years old now. So her being able to see a female like me build this from scratch, I feel like will help her realize that men aren't the only one that can do this. Women can do these things too and make them look a little bit better than how a man would do it. Obviously I'm biased. What the is that? Get out. Oh, I hear it. Okay, hopefully it just died. Prime example as to why people around me probably never dubbed me to be the person to live in a bus, because the way that I just reacted to that, I don't even know what it was. It wasn't a fly, it wasn't a bee. It looked like a fly on steroids. It wasn't a beetle. Ew. Another rewarding thing is, you can't see it right now, but this skylight behind me that is whitewashing out this entire side of the screen, laying on my bed under this skylight through all of the seasons. Oh my god, chef's kiss to that, because seeing the star, the moon, the eclipse through that, the sunsets, and like the way the sky looks, snow, rain, hail, everything, leaves falling in autumn, that's probably one of my favorite things about the bus. And it's just so rewarding because of all of the views. But I built that and it does not leak. I feel like I should just end the video right now. Well, I hear this thing trying to live. Where are you? Why does it sound magnified? Oh, I see it. Oh, where's my spray? Bathroom spray. Yep, about to die today. Please stop. All right, I need to hurry up because I gotta go to work tonight. Another rewarding thing for me in living in this bus is that because I lost my grandmother and my great-grandmother during that time, and my grandmother was battling cancer for 4 years, I had the bus for 3 of them, and life just wasn't the plan just didn't plan out how it was supposed to. And that's okay. But when I'm inside of the bus, it feels like a bubble, like my own little bubble that I have physically created. But somewhere along the way, through everything that I was going through with my grandmother and my great-grandmother and their sicknesses, that bubble kind of started feeling smaller, and I started to just kind of go on a spiral. So I love the fact that the bus felt like a bubble and I was just in my own world, in my own zone. But it also kind of flipped the script and felt like this bubble was working against me. I don't know if that makes sense, but through this journey, I was able to voice my concerns for myself and my mental health, go to therapy, and now since I've moved out of the bus, moved into an apartment, I feel like I've been rebranding myself to another person, because I feel like me being in this bus and living in this bus, I've branded myself as the girl who lives in a bus. The girl who lives in a bus. And that's how people knew me. And that's okay, because I can brag about autumn all day. I just wish people would ask better questions. I can brag about autumn all day. But now, since I'm moving out, or I have moved out, I feel like I'm also changing to another person. I'm no longer the girl who lived in a bus. I'm just a girl who is young and innovative and creative, and I like to explore and I want to get out, but I also love to stay home. So after 2.5 years of living in autumn, the regrets that I have are slim to none, which I love. So I regret not traveling more. I kind of, like I said, got stuck in my little bubble and kept it at that. 2, I also regret not restarting my YouTube channel sooner to kind of just like keep going with the content that I created on TikTok of me building the entire bus, but I didn't kind of stop there, and I didn't do more of like me living in the bus. I wish I would have done that on TikTok and on YouTube. I'm trying to think, what else do I regret? Do I regret doing this? No. Do I regret how I did it? No. Like, that's it. My advice for anyone who wants to live in a bus and go this route for their life, just do it. I was gonna give you a list, but like, just do it. That's exactly what I did. It was kind of impulsive, but I knew that this is what I wanted to do. I was happy during the whole process of building it. I was happy during living in autumn. I'm still happy every time I get to put my keys in the ignition and start her up to drive her. I love autumn so much. Just do it. Life is short. Life is so short. The world's probably ending soon. Like, just do the thing that you want to do, whether it's living in a bus or moving to across America, moving to another country. Just do the thing. Just do the thing. Life is too short. It truly is. But I think also a part of just doing the thing and following your gut, trusting your gut, is trusting yourself, knowing what you truly want. I truly believe that if you give something your all, everything that you have, the universe will conspire to help you achieve it. And that what I feel happened for me in creating autumn. Above all else, you have to trust yourself, and if you believe in God or whatever higher power, trust that also. Just do it. Have fun. Live life. Life is too short. Just have fun. Do the thing. Trust yourself. Trust in the universe and God and whoever it is that you believe in, and just make the thing happen. Just do it. Okay. If you guys have any questions, if I left anything out, please send me a comment and let me know what your question is, and I will respond to every single one out there. Let me know, because I like to engage with the people who are watching my videos. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. There will be more to come. The next one could be why did I move out of the bus, and a bus tour. Make sure you guys subscribe to my channel, watch my videos. TikTok is probably going to be no longer a thing very soon, so we're transitioning to YouTube. So watch my content, or not. Send it to someone who you think might like it or might want to live in a bus. Okay, bye. Thanks for watching. Sir, you gotta go. Leave. Leave. Leave the bus. The door. Thank you. Okay. What you looking at? These flies freaking love the bus. The door is open, so that's obviously why, but like, go somewhere else. Go. Why are there two of you? Go. 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 One left. Try be inspirational. I don't even know what I just said. I think that's it.